I found myself for large parts of the movie asking myself, what the heck is going on here? Like, what are these characters doing? Where did these people come from? Why are they here in the movie? Hello, cinephiles. My name is Glenn, and this is a review of The Matrix Resurrections. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to give away the plot or ruin the movie for you. I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts. The Matrix Resurrections is the fourth movie in the Matrix franchise, starring Canadian favorite Keanu Reeves, alongside Carrie-Anne Moss and a whole bunch of other familiar people and some new fresh faces. So The Matrix Resurrections opens up with an almost shot-by-shot remake of the first movie, but with different actors playing very similar characters. There is a little bit of a difference with different points of view thrown in there, but what you're thinking when you first see this is, am I about to get a new, different, fresh movie, or am I about to get the original plot of the first three Matrix movies told in a bit of a different way? And so for me, this is where things start to fall apart, because as I'm watching the movie, it's not that different. The fatal flaw of The Matrix Resurrections is that the Wachowskis and the producers and the writers try to cram in what should have probably been 2 or 3 movies in a 2.5-hour movie. And because of that, this movie is riddled with exposition, meaning that the characters are telling you what to think, what they're doing every step of the way, so that you can continue to follow along. The problem with that is that we, as the moviegoer, we don't want to be told through the characters' lines what's going on. We want to be shown through the interaction and the scenes, the cinematography, the lighting, all these different things that make the cinema experience so amazing. And because of that, it feels like someone's talking at you for 2.5 hours in this movie instead of you being on a journey with the characters. They try to cram so much information into this movie that in order to make a lot of things relevant, they rely on a lot of clips and a lot of references to the previous trilogy just to make sense of what's going on in the movie. To be honest, for people like me who've seen the original Matrix trilogy, it was a bit of a bore because I'm hearing and seeing stuff I already know. I want the fresh new stuff, please. I came here for something new, original, something exciting. There was a whole bunch of new characters that were added into the movie. You don't really learn about their backstories or anything about them. It really just seems like you're following around Neo and Trinity, and then there's a whole bunch of other characters and you're really not sure who they are, what their motivations are, all that kind of stuff. The kind of things that make us fall in love with characters and care about them and want to see what happens throughout the movie. I found myself for large parts of the movie asking myself, what the heck is going on here? Like, what are these characters doing? Where did these people come from? Why are they here in the movie? There's one scene where it looks like 4 or 5 of the Lost Boys from the movie Hook are fighting Neo and his crew. I'm like, who are these people? Where did they come from? It's just so much unexplained stuff going on in the movie that I couldn't keep track of what was going on. The person behind me, the woman behind me even said at one point, I'm bored, I don't understand what's going on. I can't wait for this movie to end. In the theater, I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I'm lost here, people. The action sequences in the movie were decent. I would say they're on par with other action movies today. This movie was really relying on the story and the philosophical ideas it shared to carry it. So the action kind of came secondary. We didn't see those really cool scenes like we saw in the initial Matrix. Remember that one where Neo and Trinity are going to the lobby of the building because Morpheus is upstairs and they've got all these guns and they're jumping off walls in crazy ways and they're firing their guns and cement's flying everywhere and it looks amazing. We didn't get any of that in this movie. Practical effects these days in Hollywood are starting to lose out to CGI, and that was one of the reasons why the initial Matrix was so amazing, because they used so many awesome practical effects that made the action sequences look great. So if you're going to see this movie because you're expecting some awesome action, you're going to get some, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing really too impressive about the action sequences in Matrix Resurrections. The saving grace in this movie for me is really the relationship and the acting and the chemistry between Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss in their characters, Neo and Trinity. They still got it. It was great seeing them on screen together, and it was one of those times where the nostalgia hit you the way it's supposed to. It makes you feel and remember things from the original Matrix series that made you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. So kudos to you, Keanu and Carrie, for bringing that to this movie. So two roles which were really, really hard to fill by the actors were going to be the parts of Morpheus and Smith. So Lawrence Fishburne, who played Morpheus in the original trilogy, and Hugo Weaving, who played Agent Smith, really enabled our leads, Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu, to perform amazingly. The chemistry between all four of these characters in their dichotomy, good and evil, control versus freedom, it really lit up on the screen. Unfortunately, in this movie, both these characters played, in my opinion, a bit of a lesser role. And these are huge shoes to fill. When you think about Weaving, you think about Fishburne, you think about these gentlemen with huge presence on screen, these deep baritone voices. And these two other gentlemen just didn't really bring that to the screen. They didn't really get enough time to build out their characters enough. And because of that, they felt kind of flat on screen. Granted, I don't think it's the actor's fault. I just think that they were given so little time to do so much that it just didn't work. Jessica Henwick plays Bugs, our new captain, the person who now rescues our hero, Neo, from being stuck in the Matrix. I thought she did a tremendous job. Her acting was on point. She hit all of her beats. Her action ability and skills are there. I thought that was a great casting choice. Hat tip to you, Jessica. So at the end of the day, this movie gets a meek 2 out of 10. This movie just tried to do way too much in too little of a time. It felt like, to me, a bit of a cash grab. I don't know if the studio said, hey, we're doing Matrix 4 with or without you Wachowskis. Are you in or out? And because it is their brainchild, they want to stay in there and make it the best they could. Either way, too much in too little of a time frame. It falls kind of flat for me. I would wait till this one comes out on video or rental or streaming if you really, really want to watch it. Save your money, though. Do not go see Matrix Resurrections in the theater. Cinephiles, my name is Glenn. This has been a Matrix Resurrections review. Keep on watching.